I'm Tel. I'm an incoming YL6 student, and right now what I wanted to talk to you about is med-life balance. So first, to give you an idea what I juggle with, so I'm the middle of my PG. I'm the scholars representative of our batch. I also participate in batch initiatives such as initiatives by the academic department, and also right now I'm the head of one of the committees for ORSEM. So other than that, I have a passion project slash business, as just a small one, and also I'm a part-time researcher and writer. So of course, after everything, I also have my own hobbies, which I try to make time for to just stay sane through med school. So okay, a lot of you were actually sharing your concerns about academic workload, about life outside of medicine, about time management, and yeah, like me, how to stay sane through it all, right? So today, what I wanted to do is to share some of the tips or ways that worked for me in my first year of med school, and I hope that it would help you as well. There are actually three main points that I wanted to discuss. So first would be just manage your expectations. Second would be to calendar and to follow through. And third is to document your joys. Going into medicine, going into this path, I'm sure, given all your concerns, that you already expected that there will be some significant life changes that comes with it. And I mean, you're right naman. It's just that I think it's a lot about accepting that, really internalizing that, and also being able to communicate that to your loved ones or to the people you spend most time with. Because for sure there would be some changes lang with how much you spend time with them. So getting them on board this goal of yours, this new life of yours would very much help in managing the life of a med student. And moderate lang your expectations. Don't be scared kasi it's just an adjustment period lang naman talaga. It's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. But I think if you just push on through, get used to the day-to-day, then eventually it's just about seamlessly integrating it into your life. And you wouldn't think na medicine is taking the life out of you. Don't be too lax as well. So, in medicine, it takes more than brains to survive. I mean, at least I can say that for first year med school. You also have to be very diligent about your requirements to be able to survive. So, speaking of diligence, calendar and to follow through. So, personally, I use Google Calendar. I like it because you can sync it in your mobile, for example, and then you can just bring it anywhere and see what you have to do for the day. And personally, I went from having my personal Google Calendar to sharing it to my academic calendar when I got my OBF email so that they're all seen in one place. So I have 3 colors in my calendar. So I color code. So I also want to share that. So I have yellow for personal tasks or events. I have blue for academic events and red for pertinent deadlines. So I don't try to add too many colors because if you do that, it looks too busy as well. So the reason why I have 2 main colors is for me to see whether there's actually a balance between my personal life and my, medicine life. And if there's an imbalance, then at least I can make some adjustments. Okay, other than that, so usually at the start of a module, the module coordinator will be giving you a course schedule, and there meron ng exam schedules or group work deadlines. And you can start plotting it in your calendar na. So for example, a course would run for a month, then at least you already have some idea how your coming month would go. And other than that, I also personally calendar my preparation time for let's say group work. So for example, I have a group work due on Saturday. My preparation for that will happen maybe Wednesday, Thursday, whenever my group mates are also available. And it's also in my calendar. Para lang, in addition to rest or break times, I have an idea how much time I really have in my hands. So we talked about rest and break times. So I would also highly recommend to have a consistent, sleeping schedule. So personally, what I do is it's also in my calendar when I will take naps and when I will sleep at night. So I try to stay consistent with my sleeping habits. So I wrap up around 11 p.m. and then 12 midnight to 8 to 9 a.m. the next day is when I sleep. I wouldn't really persuade you to either become an early bird or a night owl. It really depends on when you're most productive at. But I think it's worth noting that in YL5, there are exam schedules that happen in the morning, Synchronous lectures also happen in the morning a lot, although they're recorded naman. But, if you want to stick to your sleeping schedule, then it might be advantageous lang to be a morning person. Oh my God, very important. And it's really like a pro tip. Incorporate movement in your calendar. So personally, I have a morning routine where I exercise in the morning. I like it in the morning because it gives me energy for the day. But I know some of my friends who like to go to the gym in the afternoon or late at night. And that also helps clear their mind. So, do what works for you, right? The important thing is just it helps you keep you like physically and mentally well. So, really do exercise a lot whenever you can. So, we're talking about all these, putting things in your calendar and events. But, sometimes there's just so many things that you have to do. So it's important to like really stay in the moment and just like finish what you can for the day. Don't be too hard on yourself if you really can't go over everything on your to-do list or everything on your calendar. So I think one of the advantages of having a digital calendar is, well, you can play around with it, right? So you can just reschedule your events to tomorrow or the other day whenever you're available to be able to do it. So yeah, just have fun with it, I guess. And lastly, for calendar tips is, I remember my former boss telling me, so I used to work kasi before med school, and my boss would tell me that, if there's no specific date or time set, then there's no real commitment. So what I can say about this is like, all these questions about having whether you have time for like family, for like friends, for your SO, for your hobbies. You can make time for them. That's why you put them in your calendar, because that just shows that you're setting aside time for these priorities in your life. I guess just know what you can realistically handle. So know your priorities, know when you have to say no to things. And yeah, sometimes it's just about adjusting time you spend with these life aspects rather than really removing them from your life. So if you normally spend like maybe a weekend before having trips or like going with like your friends, maybe you can, especially on busy weeks, like you can just make it like a night out or like a brunch maybe, so at least you still get to catch up with them that way. So there. The last point that I want to make is to document your joys. It's up to you how you do it. You can make a reel about it, you can write about it, but personally I like taking photos and videos, so that's why I have in my IG a highlight specific for medicine, and I add there all these little moments that make me happy about medicine. And the reason why I would suggest doing this is because it helps remind you of why you're doing what you're doing, what brings you joy, whether they're small or big things. And it also helps you like keep memories with the people you journey with. So it's nice to look back, especially when it's like a really hard week or a really hard month. Oh my God, GI. So the title of the talk is Med-Life Balance, right? But if you think about it, if it's something that genuinely brings you joy, it's not something that you have to separate from your life, or it's not something that you have to make a distinction, right? So med is life. So you just have to roll with it, like through the good and the bad times. So again, in more practical terms, my tips to survive med school are to manage expectations, to calendar and to follow through, and to document your joy. Now, if you have other questions or still tips about how to survive med school, I'm just a message away on Facebook or Instagram. And there you go. Good luck with YL5 and hoping to see you.